Have you ever felt it? That quiet nagging sense that you are capable of more, that the life you live, your routines, your work, your social roles is only a fraction of what you could be. You are not failing. You are not broken. You are ordinary. And yet, in those rare silent moments, you glimpse another version of yourself, alert, disciplined, unshakable, and profoundly aware. This is the mind of the wolf, calm, strategic, and silently formidable. The wolf does not rush. It watches. It waits. It understands its world and acts only when the moment demands precision. Within these chapters, you will learn how to embody this presence, how to respond to disrespect without losing composure, how to recognize hidden patterns of influence, how to move through life with clarity, confidence, and quiet authority. You will discover the psychology of power and perception, the art of patience, and the subtle strategies that turn hesitation into opportunity. You will confront the instincts that hold you back and learn to transform them into tools of insight and influence. This is not about domination or cruelty. It is about mastery. Mastery of yourself, of your reactions, and of the way you're seen in the world. Across 8 chapters, you will explore the laws of respect, the silent strength of strategy, the cultivation of mental resilience, and the profound freedom that comes from understanding both your inner drives and the forces around you. By the end, you will not merely survive the challenges of life, you will move through them with the quiet, unshakable confidence of one who knows their own power, sees the currents of human behavior, and acts with deliberate, measured force. This is your invitation to awaken the wolf within, to see beyond the ordinary, and to step into a presence that commands attention, respect, and influence without ever needing to raise your voice. Chapter 1. Kill the dog in you. Have you ever noticed how easily you shrink in the presence of someone louder, bolder, or seemingly more confident than yourself? How a single glance, a careless word, or a subtle insult can make your heart tighten, your voice falter, your hands clench? This is the moment when the dog inside you rises, the timid, submissive, reactive part that craves approval, avoids confrontation, and yields to stronger wills. It is a familiar part of us all, trained over years by society, by fear, and by the relentless pursuit of comfort. Yet if you are to awaken the wolf within, this is the first thing you must confront. You must face it, acknowledge it, and then decisively kill it. The dog is not merely timidity. It is the reflex that whispers, "Stay small, don't risk, don't challenge, avoid conflict." It is the part of your mind that convinces you to shrink, to explain, to apologize, to lower your gaze when your instincts scream for presence, for assertion, for recognition of your own worth. This inner dog survives on fear of judgment, of rejection, of being noticed, even fear of your own capabilities. And yet, for all its persistence, it is not your master. It is a creature to be observed, understood, and ultimately outgrown. Machiavelli, in his ruthless yet precise understanding of human nature, recognized the necessity of strength and cunning. He did not romanticize fear. He did not preach meekness. He understood that life, society, and influence reward those who can act with clarity and assertive foresight. In the same way, the wolf thrives not because it is stronger than the prey, but because it is disciplined, patient, and fully attuned to its environment. It is strategic. It does not react. It calculates. It does not flee. It prepares. To awaken this wolf, you must first recognize the ways in which the dog in you has been allowed to govern your life. Consider your everyday reactions. When someone interrupts you, do you falter or fight back with measured precision? When disrespect arises, do you shrink or respond with calm authority? The dog wants immediate avoidance, a quiet retreat, a surrender to ease. The wolf pauses. The wolf evaluates. The wolf waits for the exact moment where a single deliberate action achieves maximum effect. To train this wolf, you must begin by observing your habitual reactions and questioning their origins. Why do you flinch at a challenge that you could easily overcome? Why do you permit others to impose limitations that exist only in your acceptance? The first step is recognition. Observe yourself as if you were another creature in the room. Your thoughts, your impulses, your urges toward submission. Watch the dog cower, retreat, plead, and justify. Do not be angry with it. It is not evil. It is merely a part of your psyche conditioned to survive in an often indifferent world. But survival alone is insufficient. The dog's strategy is safety. The wolf's strategy is sovereignty. And to awaken the wolf, safety must be subordinated to mastery. Once recognized, comes the second step, detachment. Separate the dog from your identity. Understand that it is a mechanism, a habit, a reflex, not the entirety of who you are. You are not the dog's fears, its self-doubt, its timidity. You are the mind capable of transcending it. Imagine a wolf emerging from shadow, silent, composed, alert. Feel the sensation of control, the clarity of thought, the quiet power of presence. This is not fantasy. It is an attainable state of being. Each time you confront the dog within, each time you resist its pull toward submission, you exercise the mental and emotional muscles that cultivate the wolf. The third step is deliberate action. Here, Machiavellian insight becomes essential. One cannot merely think of strength. One must enact it. The wolf does not philosophize in hesitation. It moves, and movement, in the context of social interaction, means measured assertiveness. Speak when others expect silence. Hold your ground when others anticipate compliance. Respond to disrespect with composure. Never panic. Never overreact. The wolf's strength lies in the perception it projects, of being aware, uncheckable, and strategically silent until the precise moment for action. Discipline, above all, is the bridge between recognition and action. To cultivate the wolf, your mind must practice restraint. Observe every interaction, note your impulses, and ask, is this reaction the dog's reflex or the wolf's calculation? Over time, the wolf becomes not only a response, but a state of constant readiness. You learn to move through the world without unnecessary aggression, without futile concessions, and without fear-driven hesitation. You develop a presence that communicates authority without uttering a word. Consider the parallels in human history and daily life. The person who endures mockery or underestimation, yet responds with deliberate, precise action, gains influence. The one who patiently studies, listens, and observes before acting attains respect. The wolf does not seek approval. It commands it, and the first command you must enforce is over yourself. Without this internal sovereignty, all external influence is hollow, all power superficial. Yet the path is neither simple nor comfortable. The dog resists fiercely. Old habits, insecurities, and conditioned responses rise like waves against a cliff. You will feel fear, hesitation, and doubt. You will be tempted to retreat into old behaviors, to apologize unnecessarily, to diminish your presence to placate others. These moments are tests. Each instance of conscious restraint, each deliberate choice to embody the wolf rather than the dog, strengthens your internal authority. Like muscles under strain, your mental fortitude grows with consistent effort. Another essential aspect is awareness of context. The wolf knows when confrontation is wise and when restraint is strategic. Strength without wisdom is brutality. Patience without action is weakness. The dog reacts impulsively, often to immediate threats or emotional triggers. The wolf weighs consequences, measures timing, and moves with precision. The difference is subtle but profound. One is driven by instinct, the other by intelligence and self-command. Your goal is not to eliminate instinct. Wolves are instinctive, but to channel it through deliberate intention. By embracing this philosophy, You also gain clarity about respect, influence, and the subtle art of social power. Disrespect, slights, and challenges are not invitations to panic or retaliate. They are opportunities to demonstrate composure, foresight, and authority. The wolf does not retaliate impulsively. It creates conditions in which its presence alone shifts dynamics. Every carefully measured action communicates far more than words ever could. The dog's reactions, by contrast, are loud, clumsy, and transparent, revealing vulnerability and weakness. Finally, consider the long-term transformation. Each confrontation with the dog within, each moment of restraint and strategic choice, gradually reshapes your identity. You move from a person ruled by fear and social conditioning to one guided by awareness, strategy, and unshakable presence. Over time, the wolf becomes not merely a mode of reaction, but a habitual state of being. You operate from a foundation of confidence, clarity, and quiet authority that others notice instinctively. And so, the first chapter concludes with a challenge. Recognize the dog, detach from it, act with precision, and cultivate discipline. Observe your impulses. Resist reflexive submission. Respond deliberately. With patience and vigilance, you awaken the wolf within a presence that commands attention, earns respect, and navigates the world with calculated strength. This is only the beginning. The chapters that follow will explore respect, power, patience, silence, strategy, mental fortitude, and influence in depth. Chapter 1 plants the seed. To awaken the wolf, you must first kill the dog inside yourself. And once that seed is sown, all that remains is the careful cultivation of its strength, precision, and wisdom. Chapter 2. How to kill disrespect. Disrespect is a subtle poison. It creeps in through glances, tones, offhand remarks, or the quiet dismissal of your presence. At first, it might appear insignificant, an eyebrow raised, a laugh that doesn't include you, a slight that goes unnoticed by others. But within these small fissures lies an unspoken truth. The world, if left unchecked, will test your boundaries, your confidence, and your resolve. Every act of disrespect is a mirror, reflecting not only the character of the one who disrespects, but also the vulnerabilities you carry, the soft spots where fear, insecurity, or pride can be pierced. The dog inside reacts immediately to disrespect. It snarls, flinches, or cowers. It may lash out clumsily, overcompensating, or it may retreat silently, consumed by self-doubt. Both reactions reveal the same weakness, a surrender of composure to the judgment of another. Machiavelli recognized the centrality of reputation, perception, and respect in human affairs. He knew that to maintain influence, one must control not only their actions, but the impressions those actions create. And the first lesson in this control is mastery over the inner reaction to disrespect. Imagine yourself in a room where someone challenges your competence, undermines your authority, or mocks your ideas. The dog panics. It wants to defend, justify, or retaliate. But the wolf pauses. The wolf observes. The wolf understands the dynamics at play. Disrespect, in the hands of the unprepared, becomes a trigger that unravels confidence, erodes authority, and amplifies vulnerability. In the hands of the prepared, it becomes a lens through which clarity emerges, a chance to demonstrate composure, strategy, and calculated strength. To kill disrespect is not to silence or dominate others. It is to master your own reaction. The first step is awareness. Recognize when you are being disrespected, and distinguish between the meaningful and the trivial. Not every slight requires response. Not every word carries weight. The wolf understands which battles are worth engaging and which are not. By filtering what deserves attention, you conserve energy, maintain focus, and avoid the unnecessary chaos that the dog inevitably invites. Next comes detachment. Observe the disrespect without letting it penetrate your core. The dog internalizes slights, interpreting them as judgments on identity, worth, or competence. The wolf sees them as external signals, events occurring in the world, not inside the mind. When you detach, you neutralize the emotional spike that fuels impulsive reactions. You move from victimhood to agency, from reflex to strategy. Machiavelli emphasized perception over reality because others respond more to how you carry yourself than to the truth you know. If disrespect is met with visible fear, anger, or apology, the world will take note. If it is met with calm, composed confidence, it loses its power. The wolf does not fight every insult. It communicates dominance and presence without aggression. Every measured action becomes a lesson in authority, teaching the world silently but unmistakably that your boundaries are fixed, your judgment precise, and your presence non-negotiable. The third step is strategic response. There are moments when ignoring disrespect is itself the most powerful action. There are other moments when a subtle, controlled response shifts perception in your favor. Timing, tone, and intent are everything. The wolf chooses when to act, understanding that reaction without strategy is still submission. And in the world of influence, submission invites repetition. A glance, a carefully chosen word, a calm correction. These small gestures communicate far more than shouting or retaliation ever could. A critical dimension of killing disrespect lies in anticipation. Observe patterns. Recognize the people or situations where disrespect arises predictably. Understand the psychology behind it. Often, those who disrespect are projecting insecurity, testing boundaries, or asserting dominance where they feel threatened. Your role is not to judge them, but to respond as the wolf does, with awareness, without ego, with control. Anticipation allows you to prepare, to neutralize the offense before it escalates, and to reclaim authority quietly and decisively. Consider also the internal habits that foster vulnerability. The dog feeds on insecurity, doubt about your worth, fear of confrontation, desire for approval. Each moment of hesitation, each apology before necessity, each over-explanation reinforces the dog and invites further disrespect. The wolf, in contrast, cultivates inner sovereignty. It practices composure, sharp observation, and the deliberate alignment of thought and action. Over time, the wolf's presence alone commands respect, reducing the frequency of challenges and insults. The mastery of disrespect is inseparable from mental discipline. Your mind becomes the arena where battles are won or lost. When the dog reacts impulsively, it wastes energy, loses clarity, and gives away power. The wolf trains itself through reflection, mindfulness, and rehearsal. It studies responses, considers consequences, and practices restraint. This is not weakness, it is preparation. It is deliberate cultivation of presence. It is the shaping of perception through subtle, intentional control. Equally important is understanding the social economy of respect. Humans are conditioned to recognize power through cues of confidence, composure, and decisiveness. Disrespect is often a test of these cues. When you maintain calm in the face of slights, you do not merely defend yourself. You signal strength, intelligence, and unassailable presence. Others unconsciously take note. Respect, once earned through composure and strategic mastery, becomes self-reinforcing, a shield against future slights, and a foundation for influence. Finally, the path to killing disrespect requires long-term cultivation. One cannot react to every slight consciously and continuously. This would be exhausting and unsustainable. Instead, the wolf develops habits: disciplined presence, careful observation, strategic patience. These habits eventually become instinctual. The dog's reflexive fear and anger are replaced by the wolf's measured, unshakable authority. Your reputation transforms. You move through the world not as prey to insults, but as a presence that commands attention, quietly and persistently. The journey begins with a single realization. Disrespect is not something to be fought externally first. It is an internal conquest. Every glance, every word, every slight you encounter is an opportunity to practice composure, to refine your strategy, and to assert the presence of the wolf. With awareness, detachment, strategic response, anticipation, and disciplined habit, you cultivate not merely resistance to disrespect, but mastery over it. By the end of this chapter, you will understand that the dog's reactions, anger, fear, impulsive retaliation, are unnecessary and self-defeating. They only perpetuate a cycle of diminished power. The wolf, by contrast, acts with intent, patience, and precision. Each instance of disrespect becomes a lesson, each interaction a chance to demonstrate quiet authority, and each victory over the internal dog a step toward complete sovereignty of mind, body, and presence. And so, the second chapter closes with a challenge. Recognize the subtle ways you allow disrespect to undermine you. Detach from reflexive reactions, respond with strategy, and cultivate habits that strengthen presence and authority. With this, the wolf grows not through aggression, but through awareness, restraint, and deliberate action. Part 3. 9 Things You Should Never Do in Public by Machiavelli. Public behavior is more than etiquette. It is the silent language through which the world reads your character, power, and influence. Every gesture, glance, and word communicates far more than you intend. The casual observer may overlook the details, yet the subtle signals are never wasted. Those who understand perception, those who move with awareness, can craft a presence that commands attention and respect without uttering a single boast. Machiavelli, though centuries removed from our modern streets and digital arenas, understood this principle intimately. Appearances, timing, and restraint are far more powerful than overt displays of strength or argument. To navigate the public sphere effectively, you must first recognize the common pitfalls, behaviors that diminish presence, invite disrespect, or reveal weakness. The first thing to avoid is panic or overreaction. The world tests you constantly. A delayed response or a sudden lapse of composure can transform curiosity into judgment. The wolf never panics. It observes, calculates, and acts only when it has gathered enough information to achieve precision. In public, your emotional control is your armor. Shaking hands, shifting eyes, abrupt gestures, and stammered speech signal vulnerability. The moment you internalize that composure is a tool, not a mask, you begin to inhabit a presence that others instinctively respect. Second, avoid oversharing personal weakness. There is an invisible line between intimacy and exposure. Public life is not a safe space for vulnerability unless it is strategic. The dog inside wants empathy, connection, and approval. It wants to confess, justify, or plead for understanding. The wolf, in contrast, measures disclosure carefully. Only reveal what enhances perception or achieves a tactical purpose. A life lived too openly in the eyes of others risks surrendering authority to those who seek to exploit it. The mastery of discretion is a cornerstone of strategic presence. The third error is seeming indecisive or hesitant. People are drawn to clarity, conviction, and forward movement. Hesitation in public, prolonged thought without action, wavering tone, or delayed responses signals a mind still under the dog's dominion. The wolf projects certainty. Its pauses are intentional, its silence deliberate, and its words weighed for maximum effect. Hesitation is not uncertainty. It is preparation, reflection, and the conscious orchestration of perception. Fourth, reacting emotionally to criticism or challenge erodes authority. Public life is rife with evaluation, scrutiny, and judgment. The dog reacts with anger, embarrassment, or defensiveness. The wolf acknowledges criticism internally, assesses its validity, and responds with strategic calm. Sometimes, the most potent response is silence, allowing the other's words to hang in the air while your composure quietly signals unshakable presence. Emotion untempered by calculation is a liability. Emotional control is a weapon. Fifth, never oversell yourself or brag. Pride unchecked is a magnet for envy, resentment, and scrutiny. The dog seeks approval and validation, craving recognition for small achievements. The wolf, by contrast, allows competence to speak without embellishment. Reputation is constructed over time, quietly, with consistent action and visible mastery. Bragging is a superficial shortcut. Quiet confidence communicates far more to the discerning eye. Sixth, avoid aligning with obvious power too eagerly. Appearing sycophantic or overly deferential signals dependence, insecurity, and lack of internal authority. The wolf respects strength, but does not bend reflexively to it. Observing, listening, and assessing allows the wolf to navigate hierarchies without surrendering autonomy. Strategic positioning requires patience and subtlety, not overt submission. Seventh, do not lose awareness of spatial and social dynamics. Where you stand, how you move, and the subtleties of posture communicate more than your words. The dog ignores these cues, acting impulsively or awkwardly. The wolf navigates these spaces like a chessboard. Every movement intentional, every gesture precise. Awareness of proximity, timing, and audience perception transforms presence from passive to commanding. Eighth, avoid public displays of desperation, whether for attention, affection, or approval. The dog craves affirmation and seeks to fill emptiness with external validation. The wolf relies on internal alignment, cultivating self-sufficiency and resilience. Desperation is readable. It invites exploitation. Calm self-possession, on the other hand, creates respect and influence naturally, without force. Finally, the ninth pitfall is neglecting observation. Public life is not merely a stage for action, it is a theater for learning. The dog acts first, reacts immediately, and often misses the underlying currents of interaction. The wolf observes, interprets, and stores critical information. Every glance, gesture, and tone becomes data. Through this attentive presence, the wolf learns who respects, who manipulates, and who is predictable. Observation is both shield and weapon, quietly establishing superiority without overt display. Machiavelli's insight is clear. Perception shapes reality. By mastering what others see and controlling the subtle cues that signal strength, awareness, and composure, you cultivate power silently. Public errors, no matter how minor, are magnified. They invite judgment, disrespect, and diminished influence. Each misstep the dog makes reinforces others' assumptions of weakness. Each pause, measured response, and precise gesture the wolf exhibits strengthens reputation, authority, and strategic positioning. A deeper principle underlies these 9 don'ts. Mastery of self precedes mastery of others. The wolf's effectiveness in public stems not from posturing or manipulation, but from internal sovereignty. Without self-command, composure is performative. Without discipline, presence is hollow. You must first dominate your internal impulses, the reflexive anger, fear, or need for validation, before you can influence how the world perceives you. Every act of restraint, observation, and strategic silence reinforces this inner command. It is also essential to understand the interplay between attention and subtlety. In public, the world is constantly watching, consciously or not. Yet attention is a finite resource. The wolf carefully selects where to invest focus, when to speak, when to move, and when to remain imperceptible. The dog, by contrast, seeks to dominate attention, indiscriminately reacting to every slight, displaying every insecurity, and demanding notice. Subtlety allows the wolf to operate with strategic invisibility while exerting influence indirectly. This chapter also emphasizes timing as a decisive factor. Public influence is not created through constant display. It emerges from moments of concentrated impact. The wolf waits for openings, reads patterns, and strikes or speaks at the exact point where perception, context, and consequence align. Overexposure, overreaction, or constant engagement dilutes presence. The mastery of public behavior is the mastery of timing, where less becomes infinitely more. The culmination of these 9 principles is a transformation of perception into power. Others will sense your presence, judge your composure, and respond to your measured actions. You will learn to navigate social hierarchies, shifting dynamics, and subtle challenges not by force, but by strategic awareness. The wolf in public is calm, deliberate, and precise. Its presence alone commands respect, shapes interactions, and deters unnecessary conflict. Chapter 3, therefore, is not merely a list of rules, but a philosophy. Observe, restrain, calculate, and act with intent. Public behavior is the first visible manifestation of the internal shift from dog to wolf. Every gesture, every choice, every pause becomes a lesson in strategic authority, reinforcing reputation, securing respect, and amplifying influence. When practiced consistently, these 9 principles become second nature, an extension of your disciplined presence, a tangible demonstration of the mastery cultivated within. As this chapter closes, reflect on the subtle ways you currently undermine yourself in public. Examine moments when fear, insecurity, or habit allowed the dog to speak before the wolf. Observe where composure falters, where attention is scattered, and where your presence diminishes. Each awareness is an opportunity to refine, strengthen, and elevate. The journey is continuous, but every step taken in mindfulness, patience, and strategic self-command brings the wolf closer to full emergence. The next chapter will build on this foundation, exploring rules of influence, mental fortitude, and social strategy in even deeper detail. For now, remember, public behavior is not merely about etiquette or appearance. It is the mirror of your inner authority. Cultivate the wolf, and the world will follow suit. Part 4. Outsmart anyone with 5 Machiavellian rules for total dominance. Power, influence, and strategic advantage are not granted, they are seized. Yet the truly dangerous form of mastery is subtle, invisible, and often unnoticed until it has already reshaped the landscape. The wolf does not rely on brute force or loud assertions. It relies on intellect, patience, and the careful orchestration of action. To dominate, to influence, to position yourself above others in a world that rewards cunning, you must first understand the hidden rules by which human behavior unfolds. Machiavelli, ever the observer of both court and street, revealed that dominance is less about strength and more about strategy, anticipation, and the careful cultivation of perception. The first rule is observe relentlessly. Nothing escapes the eyes of the wolf. Every glance, gesture, and subtle cue in conversation is data. The dog reacts impulsively, speaking, moving, or over-explaining before processing context. The wolf absorbs, assesses, and anticipates. Observation is not passive. It is active, deliberate, and precise. Each moment of attention allows you to map motivations, predict actions, and discern vulnerabilities in ways the untrained cannot perceive. To outsmart anyone, you must first see clearly, not what they want you to see, but what they are truly doing beneath the surface. The second rule is patience as power. Influence is rarely established in a single move. The dog seeks instant gratification, immediate acknowledgement, quick validation, rapid results. The wolf, however, understands the compounding value of timing. Patience allows for calculated responses, strategic positioning, and the creation of conditions that maximize impact. In every interaction, pause before acting. Let others reveal themselves through words and deeds. Resist the urge to assert dominance too soon, for premature action diminishes authority and invites miscalculation. The wolf waits, watches, and moves only when the moment is right. The third rule is control the narrative. Words, gestures, and presence are more than expressions. They are tools of influence. The dog reacts to the narrative others create, allowing external events to dictate self-perception and response. The wolf, in contrast, subtly shapes perception without drawing attention to the manipulation. Each comment, each action, becomes a brushstroke in the larger story others perceive about you. By controlling the narrative, you control influence. Others judge not merely what you do, but what they believe you can do. Master this, and power is communicated silently yet unmistakably. Fourth is leverage perception, not force. Dominance is often misinterpreted as physical or overt power. But the wolf knows that perception is the true currency of influence. People respond to belief, assumption, and impression long before reality takes hold. The dog attempts to force outcomes through argument, volume, or emotion. The wolf bends reality through suggestion, timing, and subtle cues. Commanding respect, shaping decisions, and guiding actions all rely on this invisible control of perception. By projecting competence, composure, and intentionality, you lead others to your desired outcomes without confrontation, without overt authority. The fifth and final rule is strategic adaptation. Human behavior is unpredictable, yet patterns exist. The dog resists change, clings to habitual reactions, and falters when confronted with novelty. The wolf, however, adapts fluidly. It reads situations, adjusts tactics, and leverages the unexpected. Adaptation requires both awareness and courage. Awareness of shifting dynamics and courage to depart from familiar responses. The ability to adjust without hesitation, to remain composed while recalibrating strategy, ensures dominance in situations that would overwhelm those reliant on routine or reflex. These 5 rules operate in tandem. Observation informs patience. Patience strengthens narrative control. Narrative control enhances perception. Perception empowers adaptation, and adaptation reinforces observation. The cycle creates a system of dominance that is resilient, subtle, and enduring. Mastery is no longer reactionary. It becomes anticipatory, proactive, and unassailable. Consider the psychological mechanics underlying these rules. Humans are constantly influenced by cues they barely notice. Tone of voice, microexpressions, posture, and timing. A slight hesitation, a knowing glance, or a carefully placed comment communicates far more than words alone. The dog misreads these signals, reacts impulsively, and loses credibility. The wolf, in contrast, calibrates every interaction to maintain authority, influence, and the appearance of effortless control. The world responds not to brute strength, but to the invisible choreography of presence, observation, and calculated action. Patience, as emphasized here, is not passive. It is the deliberate cultivation of advantage. Each moment of restraint, each instance of observation, each pause before response compounds influence. The dog seeks immediate resolution. The wolf allows situations to unfold, accumulating knowledge and creating opportunities that the untrained cannot see. This is the essence of Machiavellian strategy. Outcomes are shaped quietly, invisibly, and decisively, long before overt action is required. Control of the narrative extends beyond speech or gesture. It includes reputation management, consistency, and selective transparency. Others judge reliability and competence not by isolated actions, but by perceived patterns. The wolf aligns behavior, perception, and outcomes to reinforce credibility and authority. Subtlety is crucial. Dominance rarely requires confrontation, but it always requires clarity of image. The dog, in contrast, leaves gaps, inconsistencies, and impulsive displays that erode trust and authority. Perception is a tool to wield, not a reality to accept blindly. The wolf projects strength, composure, and foresight even in uncertainty. Others respond as if competence is inherent, unquestionable, and inevitable. This creates leverage, not through coercion, but through anticipation, expectation, and the silent orchestration of belief. The dog, seeking validation, underestimates the power of projected authority, relying instead on reactionary displays that reveal weakness. Adaptation is the invisible force that secures dominance when circumstances shift unexpectedly. Life and human interaction are inherently fluid. Rigid adherence to predictable responses signals vulnerability. The wolf maintains principles, yet adjusts tactics in real time, balancing consistency with flexibility. Adaptation allows the wolf to turn obstacles into opportunities, to convert challenges into demonstrations of intelligence and composure, and to maintain the upper hand when unpredictability threatens the unprepared. To internalize these principles, practice deliberate awareness in daily life. Observe patterns in conversations, conflicts, and negotiations. Test patience by pausing before response. Shape narratives subtly through selective disclosure and careful framing. Project authority through posture, tone, and timing. Adapt fluidly as situations evolve. Over time, these behaviors coalesce into instinctive mastery, a state where dominance is exercised with minimal effort, maximum influence, and almost imperceptible guidance. The wolf's power is quiet, strategic, and pervasive. It does not rely on intimidation, anger, or superficial displays of authority. Its strength lies in the synthesis of observation, patience, narrative control, perception, and adaptation. Each principle reinforces the others, creating a psychological ecosystem of influence that is resilient and enduring. The dog may bark, bite, or flinch, but the wolf acts with precision, foresight, and silent force. As this chapter closes, reflect on the patterns in your life where reactive behavior, impatience, or mismanaged perception has undermined your influence. Consider moments when strategic observation, deliberate patience, or subtle shaping of narrative could have shifted outcomes in your favor. The mastery of others begins with mastery of self, and the 5 rules outlined here are tools to cultivate awareness, anticipation, and calculated influence. Chapter 4 marks a pivotal step in the journey. You are no longer merely observing or restraining the dog. You are actively orchestrating outcomes, subtly guiding perception, and exercising quiet dominance. The wolf is no longer reactive. It is proactive, strategic, and impossible to overlook. The next chapter will explore the mindset and behaviors of supreme confidence, focusing on presence, self-belief, and the subtle psychology of authority in daily life. Part 5. Act as if you are the best. No one is better than you. Confidence is often mistaken for arrogance, but the distinction is profound. Arrogance seeks validation from the world, while true confidence commands recognition without demanding it. The dog inside doubts itself, measures worth by approval, and trembles when others are critical. The wolf moves through the world as if it belongs, projecting authority and certainty that others sense even before words are spoken. Machiavelli understood this principle intimately. Power and influence are inseparable from the perception of competence. To act as if you are the best is not mere pretense. It is the strategic cultivation of presence that shapes reality itself. Consider the paradox. The world responds less to what you are and more to how you appear. A hesitant gesture, a faltering tone, a fleeting doubt, each signal reveals the dog's uncertainty. Conversely, measured movements, calm speech, and unwavering posture communicate mastery. The wolf acts as if it is already the apex, and in doing so, it bends perception to its advantage. Presence is cultivated deliberately. It is a skill that can be honed, practiced, and internalized. The first step is internal alignment. Confidence cannot be faked convincingly unless it begins within. You must reconcile ambition with action, belief with capability, and self-perception with outward behavior. The wolf does not rely on external validation. It builds authority internally. Every decision, every preparation, every mastery of skill reinforces the sense of competence that radiates outward. Acting as if you are the best begins with the unshakable conviction that your abilities, knowledge, and presence are sufficient, and more importantly, growing. Next is projection of certainty. Humans instinctively respond to those who exude clarity and decisiveness. The dog hesitates, second-guesses, and wavers. The wolf speaks with precision, moves with intention, and acts with assurance. Timing, tone, and posture are critical. Even silence can communicate dominance when it is controlled and deliberate. Every action, every pause, every glance is a subtle assertion of authority. Acting as if you are the best is less about boastful declarations and more about creating a field of undeniable presence that others respect intuitively. Another crucial aspect is mastery of the environment. The wolf does not merely navigate public spaces. It understands their dynamics, rhythms, and unspoken rules. Where others stumble, overreact, or seek approval, the wolf moves with calm command. Every interaction, every negotiation, every casual encounter is an opportunity to reinforce perception. You do not have to speak loudly or perform theatrically. Composure, timing, and strategic awareness are sufficient. Presence becomes a form of subtle dominance, recognized before it is consciously registered. Acting as if you are the best also requires strategic silence. Speaking without purpose dilutes authority. The dog reacts, argues, and overshares. The wolf waits, listens, and chooses words with precision. Silence carries weight when it signals thoughtfulness, confidence, or judgment. People unconsciously assign value to controlled restraint. Mastering silence allows you to act decisively when it counts, ensuring that your interventions carry maximum impact. The next element is consistent demonstration of competence. Confidence is meaningless without substance. The wolf does not project authority over empty claims. It cultivates skill, knowledge, and insight that validate its presence. Mastery, however incremental, is always observable. Others perceive it through decisions made effortlessly, solutions proposed with clarity, and the quiet assurance of actions that consistently align with competence. Acting as if you are the best is inseparable from becoming genuinely capable. Equally important is resilience in the face of challenge. The dog crumbles under pressure, allowing criticism, setbacks, or envy to shake its foundation. The wolf anticipates adversity, absorbs critique without ego, and transforms obstacles into lessons. Confidence grows in confrontation, not comfort. Acting as if you are the best is not arrogance. It is a cultivated unshakability born of preparation, practice, and experience. Others sense this stability and instinctively respect it. Another subtle principle is control of visual and nonverbal cues. Presence is communicated as much through posture, gestures, and facial expression as through words. The dog betrays uncertainty through slumped shoulders, restless hands, and shifting eyes. The wolf maintains alignment, upright posture, steady gaze, calm gestures, deliberate pacing. These cues are subconscious signals to the world of capability and control. Acting as if you are the best is both an internal conviction and a visible manifestation of authority. The wolf also understands selective assertiveness. Authority is not demonstrated constantly, but strategically. To act as if you are the best is to choose moments to assert influence with maximum effect. Overuse diminishes impact. Underuse signals insecurity. Timing and context are critical. Assertiveness is a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. Subtle, intentional interventions shape perception more profoundly than overt dominance. Finally, the wolf recognizes the power of perception over reality. The world rarely measures abilities directly. It interprets signals. Presence, composure, decisiveness, and alignment create the illusion of mastery long before absolute expertise exists. Acting as if you are the best is a conscious orchestration of these signals. Over time, perception influences reality. Doors open, respect follows, opportunities align. The wolf understands that in human affairs, perception is often the currency of power. This chapter, then, is not about arrogance or pretense. It is about the disciplined cultivation of internal authority and outward presence. The dog may doubt, react, and falter. The wolf moves through the world with quiet confidence, shaping perception, commanding attention, and establishing influence. Every interaction, every decision, every gesture reinforces an aura of mastery, leaving no ambiguity about competence, resolve, or presence. Reflect on moments in your life where uncertainty, hesitation, or self-doubt compromised authority. Consider how composure, deliberate action, and silent confidence could have shifted perception and outcomes. Acting as if you are the best is both mindset and practice. It is internal belief, external projection, and consistent demonstration of capability converging to create unshakable presence. Chapter 5 closes with a reminder. The wolf is never apologetic for its mastery. It acts with deliberate authority and quiet power. The journey from reactive, insecure dog to composed, commanding wolf is ongoing. But each act of intentional presence, each moment of restraint, and each demonstration of competence brings you closer to the apex of influence. The next chapter will explore fearlessness, strategic patience, and lessons drawn from Machiavellian psychology, how to move through life with authority while remaining unshaken by the judgment, envy, or hostility of others. Part 6. Fear no one. Fear is a silent, corrosive force. It whispers doubts, magnifies threats, and constrains action long before danger ever arrives. The dog bends under its weight, reacting impulsively, avoiding confrontation, and surrendering initiative. The wolf, however, understands fear as information, not limitation. To move through life unshaken, to command presence and influence, you must master the art of navigating fear without letting it dictate your behavior. Machiavelli's lessons, though centuries old, remain a roadmap. Courage, perception, and calculated audacity are more powerful than physical strength or brute aggression. The first lesson is fear is universal, but how you respond defines you. Every human experiences fear loss, humiliation, failure, and uncertainty. The dog reacts instinctively, driven by emotion, often fleeing, appeasing, or overcompensating. The wolf acknowledges fear, examines its source, and transforms it into strategic advantage. To fear nothing does not mean being reckless. It means cultivating awareness, preparation, and resilience so that fear cannot control action. Fear is an advisor, not a master. The second principle is courage is calculated, not blind. The dog confuses courage with impulsivity, often rushing into conflict without assessment or planning. The wolf understands the distinction. Audacity must be measured, timed, and informed by observation. Courage, in the Machiavellian sense, is the art of taking decisive action when most are paralyzed. Exploiting hesitation in others to gain each calculated risk compounds influence, shaping perception, and establishing authority without unnecessary exposure. Third, control your emotional responses. Fear is as much internal as external. It thrives. The dog reveals panic, frustration, or insecurity, inviting judgment and manipulation. The wolf, in contrast, maintains composure, projecting calm regardless of the storm. Silence, measured speech, and deliberate gestures transform nervous energy into authority. When fear is controlled internally, it cannot be weaponized by others. Emotional mastery is inseparable from influence. Fourth, anticipate threats before they appear. Fear often manifests when we are unprepared. The dog reacts to surprises, overestimating danger and underestimating personal resources. The wolf studies patterns, observes weaknesses in others, and plans for contingencies. Awareness and preparation converts fear into foresight, turning potential crises into opportunities for subtle dominance. Fifth, leverage the fear of others without succumbing to your own. Humans instinctively respond to displays of confidence, decisiveness, and composure. The wolf recognizes that fear can be a tool, a mechanism to influence behavior and guide outcomes. The dog, paralyzed by personal insecurities, fails to project authority and invites exploitation. By controlling presence, demeanor, and timing, you not only mitigate personal fear, but also shape the perception of those around you. Fear becomes a currency in the negotiation of influence. A deeper lesson is that fear thrives on uncertainty and ambiguity. The dog hesitates, questions, and overanalyzes, amplifying internal anxiety. The wolf reduces ambiguity through deliberate decision-making, clear communication, and consistent behavior. Predictability in your presence is not weakness. It signals control. Others sense stability, which fosters respect, deters confrontation, and ensures influence is exercised without direct conflict. Another principle is accept mortality and impermanence. Machiavelli emphasized that rulers who fear death or change are constrained in their decisions. The wolf internalizes impermanence, recognizing that life is fleeting and opportunity is often finite. Fear of loss, embarrassment, or failure is acknowledged but never allowed to dictate action. This awareness liberates action, sharpens judgment, and reinforces confidence in the face of adversity. Fearlessness also requires reframing failure. The dog experiences setbacks as catastrophic, evidence of incompetence or weakness. The wolf interprets failure as feedback, a necessary element of mastery and growth. Every challenge becomes a rehearsal, every misstep an opportunity to refine strategy, strengthen resolve, and reinforce presence. Fear diminishes when setbacks are absorbed as lessons, not judgments. The wolf understands that fear is contagious. Those around you are influenced by your demeanor. Hesitation breeds uncertainty. Panic invites disorder, and composed confidence inspires trust. By mastering fear internally, you establish a psychological environment in which others mirror calm, respect, and compliance. Fearlessness is both personal and social. It radiates outward, shaping outcomes and reinforcing authority. Finally, fearlessness is inseparable from strategic audacity. To act decisively when others hesitate is to command the narrative of events. The wolf moves where the timid falter, speaks where others stay silent, and positions itself advantageously when chaos arises. Strategic audacity is not reckless boldness. It is the intersection of preparation, observation, timing, and controlled risk. The dog perceives danger and freezes. The wolf perceives opportunity and acts. In essence, Chapter 6 teaches that fear is not a sign of weakness, but a force to be understood, controlled, and when necessary, leveraged. The transformation from dog to wolf occurs as internal mastery of emotion, situational awareness, and deliberate action overrides instinctive panic. Fear, once tamed, becomes a silent companion, guiding strategic decision-making rather than constraining it. Reflect on moments in your life where fear dictated action, undermined authority, or limited potential. Consider how preparation, it is forged through discipline, reflection, and consistent practice. Acting with courage, composure, and strategic awareness ensures that fear serves as an advisor, not a master. Chapter 6 closes with a powerful truth. Those who fear nothing, yet respect consequence, move through life with an authority, invisible but undeniable. The wolf does not seek approval or reassurance. It relies on inner command, calculated action, and the silent influence of presence. Each mastered fear, each decisive act, and each observed opportunity strengthens its position in ways the dog cannot comprehend. The next chapter will explore the art of strategic silence, selective speech, and psychological influence in both personal and social arenas, further sharpening the tools of the wolf as it navigates human interactions. Part 7. Stay quiet after disrespect. Disrespect is a provocation that tests the very foundation of composure. The dog reacts immediately, snapping, arguing, or lashing out, often escalating the situation and surrendering authority. The wolf, however, understands that power is not demonstrated in reactive moments. It is preserved and amplified in restraint. Machiavelli observed that those who appear controlled in the face of insult wield influence far beyond those who respond impulsively. Silence, patience, and strategic observation are more powerful than words. They allow the offended to remain unseen while projecting an aura of unshakable authority. The first lesson is observe before reacting. Every slight, insult, or challenge carries layers of intention, context, and meaning. The dog assumes hostility, magnifies offense, and responds from emotion. The wolf, in contrast, assesses the situation carefully. What is said, why it is said, who is saying it, and what potential consequences may follow. Observation creates a map of strategy, revealing both opportunity and danger. The silent pause after disrespect is not weakness. It is preparation. Next is the power of invisibility. By not reacting publicly, the wolf denies the provocateur satisfaction. The dog's reaction, on the other hand, validates the offense, confirming the provocateur's power. Silence, deliberate and measured, communicates mastery without uttering a word. It creates ambiguity. The provocateur cannot discern intent, judgment, or consequence, leaving them uncertain and often cautious. The wolf knows that invisibility is a weapon as sharp as any verbal retort. Control over emotion is essential. Disrespect triggers a primal response: anger, embarrassment, or the urge for immediate retaliation. The dog succumbs, revealing inner turbulence and diminishing credibility. The wolf channels these emotions inward, transforming instinctive reaction into strategic advantage. Anger is a tool, not a guide. Composure signals confidence, strength, and control, demonstrating a psychological resilience that few can challenge. Strategic silence also requires long-term perspective. Immediate reaction often sacrifices advantage for temporary satisfaction. The dog seeks instant retribution, while the wolf understands that influence is cumulative, not momentary. By withholding response, observing patterns, and choosing the right moment to act or to never act at all, the wolf maintains authority and preserves options. In many cases, restraint creates outcomes that aggression never could. Another critical principle is let others reveal themselves. Every attempt at disrespect, every insult, is a reflection of the provocateur's psychology. The dog interrupts, reacts, or retaliates, closing the window of insight. The wolf remains silent, attentive, and discerning, allowing the provocateur to expose motives, weaknesses, or inconsistencies. Patience transforms offense into intelligence, revealing patterns that inform future strategy and decision-making. Silence also projects confidence and inevitability. By not responding impulsively, the wolf communicates mastery, composure, and control. Others sense stability and authority, even without explicit action. The dog, in contrast, signals vulnerability, allowing perception to be shaped by reaction rather than deliberate choice. The wolf understands that the impression of competence and self-possession is often more influential than competence itself. A subtle but powerful strategy is selective engagement. The wolf does not respond to every slight. Instead, it chooses interventions carefully, deploying speech or action only when it serves purpose or advantage. Every statement, gesture, or response is deliberate, enhancing authority and reinforcing perception. The dog reacts indiscriminately, diminishing influence through overexposure. Strategic engagement ensures that presence, words, and actions retain maximum impact. Another principle is internalization of control. The wolf is guided by internal standards rather than external provocations. Respect, authority, and confidence are not contingent on others' behavior. They originate within. By detaching self-worth from external validation, the wolf neutralizes disrespect, turning potential vulnerability into silent strength. Internal control allows freedom. Freedom to act decisively, to assert authority when appropriate, and to remain unaffected when it is not. Disrespect also provides a lesson in timing and patience. The dog responds instantly, fueled by ego and emotional reaction. The wolf waits, calculating the optimal moment to assert influence or extract advantage. In many situations, the mere act of waiting reshapes dynamics. The provocateur's momentum falters, their confidence diminishes, and the environment tilts subtly toward the wolf. Patience transforms offense into a tactical opportunity. Consider, too, the ripple effect of silent mastery. Those who witness composure in the face of insult unconsciously register authority, gravitating toward the wolf's influence. The dog's reactive display, however, erodes respect, signals instability, and encourages challenges. Mastery of silence extends beyond immediate interactions. It shapes reputation, perception, and long-term influence. Finally, recognize that power is quiet, not loud. The wolf's strength is measured in restraint, foresight, and perception. Reacting impulsively to disrespect demonstrates vulnerability, exposing weaknesses others will exploit. By maintaining composure, observing patterns, and choosing action with precision, the wolf commands respect, preserves strategic advantage, and navigates social landscapes with unshakable authority. Chapter 7 closes with this essential truth. The greatest victory over disrespect is the one that requires no confrontation, no explanation, and no immediate reaction. Silence, patience, and deliberate observation transform offense into insight, reaction into strategy, and insult into unspoken dominance. The wolf does not need to validate itself. The world validates it through perception, influence, and the quiet assurance of composure. The next chapter will explore the mind of the truly formidable, building mental strength and presence that inspires awe, respect, and strategic fear in others, completing the journey from reactive dog to commanding wolf. Part 8. How to build a mind so strong it terrifies people. The mind is the battlefield upon which all power is won or lost. Strength of body and influence of presence are fleeting if not grounded in mental resilience, clarity, and strategic mastery. The dog allows emotion, impulse, and external chaos to dictate thought, rendering decisions weak, reactive, and predictable. The wolf, in contrast, cultivates a mind so disciplined, observant, and adaptable that others sense an almost unnatural force behind its decisions, an intelligence that inspires caution, respect, and at times fear. Machiavelli understood that true power is not only physical or social, it is psychological. A mind that is both unshakable and agile creates influence that cannot be resisted. The first step is self-awareness at an unflinching level. The dog rationalizes weaknesses, hides insecurities, and pretends competence where it does not exist. The wolf confronts every thought, bias, and emotional reaction, examining them without judgment. This brutal honesty allows the mind to recognize vulnerabilities and convert them into strategic advantages. Awareness is not indulgent self-reflection. It is the rigorous mapping of the terrain of the self so that every action is informed, deliberate, and optimized. Next comes the cultivation of mental resilience. Life is a series of unexpected challenges, insults, and crises. The dog crumbles under pressure, emotionally reactive and easily manipulated. The wolf trains the mind to absorb shocks, process setbacks, and maintain clarity under stress. Resilience is developed through deliberate practice, exposure to difficulty, reflection on outcomes, and disciplined repetition. A mind that can endure adversity without fracturing projects' authority, that commands attention and dissuades aggression. Strategic patience is a hallmark of the formidable mind. The dog rushes to act, driven by impulse and emotion. The wolf evaluates timing, context, and consequence before moving. The world is full of opportunities that vanish for those who cannot wait. Patience allows the wolf to act decisively when the moment is optimal, ensuring that influence is maximized and mistakes minimized. Mental strength lies not in constant action, but in knowing when to move and when to wait. Another essential principle is control over attention. The dog is distracted, scattered, and reactive, surrendering mental space to trivialities, provocations, and external noise. The wolf masters focus, directing attention only to matters of importance, observing patterns and filtering irrelevant stimuli. Focused thought is a silent weapon. Those around the wolf subconsciously register clarity and intentionality, reinforcing respect and perception of competence. A strong mind also requires emotional detachment without apathy. The dog confuses emotion with authority, allowing anger, envy, or fear to dictate thought and action. The wolf experiences emotion fully, but maintains separation from decisions. Detachment allows clarity, prevents impulsive missteps, and ensures that strategy guides action rather than instinct. It is not coldness. It is precision of mind calibrated for power. The cultivation of foresight is equally critical. Anticipating consequences, reading intentions, and predicting behaviors are marks of a powerful mind. The dog reacts to events as they occur, caught in the flow of circumstance. The wolf calculates, models possibilities, and prepares contingencies, allowing decisions to unfold from a position of strength rather than reaction. Fearlessness in action stems from anticipation. The mind that has already navigated countless scenarios cannot be easily intimidated. Mental fortitude also requires mastery of narrative. Humans are influenced by stories, both those we tell others and those we tell ourselves. The dog internalizes doubt, insecurity, and limiting beliefs. The wolf consciously shapes personal narrative, reinforcing confidence, purpose, and vision. Every thought, plan, and strategy aligns with this mental framework, projecting authority that is coherent, consistent, and compelling. Others sense the alignment and respond accordingly. Another subtle but powerful element is the integration of observation and insight. A strong mind does not merely react to what is seen. It interprets, analyzes, and extrapolates hidden patterns. The dog misses subtle cues, assuming surface reality reflects truth. The wolf reads between lines, discerning motivations, weaknesses, and opportunities invisible to the untrained eye. Insight transforms intelligence into strategic leverage. Decision-making under uncertainty defines the apex of mental strength. The dog hesitates, vacillates, and defers responsibility to others or circumstance. The wolf embraces uncertainty as a natural condition, equipped with disciplined analysis and strategic confidence. Decisions are neither reckless nor timid. They are informed, deliberate, and courageous. Mental strength is most visible in moments when stakes are highest, and yet composure is unbroken. The wolf's mind is also adaptable, yet anchored in principle. Flexibility allows the response to changing circumstances, but unshakable principles provide direction. The dog is either rigid, unable to change, or erratic, lacking consistency. The wolf balances adaptability with integrity of strategy, knowing what to bend, what to preserve, and what to escalate. This balance generates respect and fear, simultaneously, a combination that is uniquely powerful. Finally, the ultimate lesson is that a mind of this caliber commands perception as much as reality. Others may never fully comprehend the depth of thought, preparation, or foresight behind a wolf's actions. Yet they instinctively feel the weight of authority, the inevitability of success, and the certainty of purpose. Mental strength manifests not only in outcomes, but in presence. The aura of competence, the calm in chaos. The subtle yet undeniable impression that this mind is unassailable. Chapter 8 closes with the understanding that the wolf's mind is its greatest weapon. Physical prowess, social influence, and external perception are fleeting without the foundation of a disciplined, resilient, and strategic mind. By mastering self-awareness, emotional detachment, foresight, and focus, the wolf achieves an intellectual authority that silently commands respect, shapes perception, and terrifies those who underestimate it. This is the culmination of the journey from reactive dog to commanding wolf. Not only surviving the world, but navigating it with mental clarity, psychological dominance, and strategic mastery. The journey does not end here. A mind strengthened in this way continuously evolves, tests limits, and absorbs lessons from every encounter. The wolf, now fully formed, moves through life with the quiet certainty that it is neither subject nor victim, but sovereign in thought, action, and perception.